Sit down,
Awesome.
please. Sit down, please.
I just want to see.
No, you can't see. We're streaming, and you can't be seen on the internet
Why?
Why? Uh-oh.
That's a
because
good
that
question for
is
the
the rule.
AMA.
That is the rule.
All right.
I don't know,
Let's let,
man.
let's get started with some easy ones. What's everybody currently consuming? Dolio, you said you are making.
Ramen with shrimp. It's a tonkatsu ramen with shrimp, grilled shrimp, and I'm proud of myself for executing the soft-boiled egg.
Yes.
How?
And how long did you soft boil the egg?
About 7.5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. You said you did it in the
Nice.
broth, right?
Yes.
That's so smart. That's so smart. I am just getting down on an orange sherbet milkshake.
Oh,
'Cause had a long day yesterday, and now I get to have my post long day milkshake, which is a
we did have a
regular thing
long
that I do.
day yesterday. Can we like talk in very vague terms about what happened yesterday? I don't know how specific we can be. Oh, hey, Pharaoh says he's going to be here soon too. That's
Yep.
exciting.
I feel like
No, this is
that's
from the
counter
rest is
to
from
the
mommy.
it's counter to the spirit of an AMA to be like, what did you do yesterday? You know, stuff, things.
Right,
A-
ask me anything,
a
and I,
thing.
might consider answering it, or maybe not.
Yep.
We'll see.
Yep. Has
Yeah,
anybody gone and
yes.
read the one that Woody Harrelson did? Like, not to talk smack or anything, but it consistently shows up on like the lists of AMAs that went wrong.
No, that's so sad. What happened?
It is. Well,
Yeah, what happened?
just exactly that. Like, people were like trying to ask questions, and whoever was running it, might not have been him, might have been like a PR team, was just like, let's stay on topic here, folks. Let's just talk about the movie. All right. So he's got an upcoming movie coming out, and the internet did not want to hear that.
Siéntate, por favor. Sorry. Was he like? Were they like asking questions about his family and stuff?
I don't even know if it was that, but like they ask stuff. They ask all sorts. They ask literally anything.
Well, I mean, just because it says "ask me anything" doesn't mean you'll answer anything. It's
That's
up
a
to
good
you what you
point.
answer. I mean, if like 7,000 people got on there and all asked you a question, you wouldn't be expected to answer all of them. You're only there for an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and
Right.
yeah. So ask
You know
whatever
what?
you
Yeah.
want. We don't promise to answer
What if they
it.
were right? They were like if they were to call you. One of the questions happened to be, so if you were to pick an ATM passcode, what would it be? Or what do you think the best social security number in the world is?
What do you think the best?
Best?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Obviously.
Yeah, like President Scrooge from Spaceballs.
Oh yes. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. So good. God, that's a great movie.
Yes.
Did anyone
Okay.
ask us what our favorite movies are?
We get Valle de Viñedo.
Ooh, where's that from?
That is from Chile.
Chile. I was about to say Chile. I was. That's a silly thing for me to say, but I was actually just thinking Chile in my
I
head.
got a question right about Chile and trivia the other night.
Nice.
Yeah, it was something about like, in such and such a year, such and such a South American country had the biggest earthquake, something. And I was like, well, that's obviously Chile. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really know anything about this, but I'm going to go ahead and say that's clearly Chile.
I
That is
feel like
some
I've
ring-
gotten my share of questions wrong where Chile was the answer, and it was usually stuff about like, I don't know, most mountainous or like most coastline or just plain largest country or
We got the best chili.
was that?
They have the best chili.
Do they have the best chili?
I don't think that's really one of their dishes, but I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question. Actually, the only time my car ever got broken into, I was in high school and I had taken a Chilean exchange student to downtown Baltimore, not far from where we were yesterday, and like the hotel, and came back to the car and it had been broken into, and I was like, well, welcome. Sorry, this is your introduction to America.
That was like early on, like.
Yeah, it was early on, and like, I mean, she stayed for her. She didn't like leave mid-semester or anything, but she definitely, she didn't, as far as I know, she never came back and visited.
Well,
she's cool though. I liked her. I'd be happy to host her if she ever did come back.
Well, you never know.
Yeah. So I see we got Wrench coming in. Hey, Wrench.
Hello.
Good evening. My God, where did you get that shirt? Where did you get that shirt?
For some reason, I can't see the shirt.
Yeah. A little while back, I was actually exposing sleeves to the G.I. Joe PSA videos for the first time. And somehow in clicking on a bunch of those, it brought up some tailored advertisements of apparel with the various slogans.
Yep.
And knowing is half the battle.
Yeah. The other half of the battle is red and blue lasers.
That's right. 25% red lasers, 25% blue lasers, 50% knowing.
And the other half of the battle is buying the t-shirt. There's lots of halves to the battle.
Yep.
Many halves. Many halves to battle.
That's the overtime battle.
Actually, good question. Do rap battles ever go into overtime?
Well, I mean, they're usually 3 rounds, right? So you gotta have. You can't. I mean, are there ever ties? I mean, like, does that happen?
I mean, that's only like organized rap battle stuff. Rand and I, our son and I, are from the old school where there was no like rounds and all that.
Right, leagues, official leagues.
Leagues and things. It was really just a bunch of dudes on the street corner or in front of a club or in a party. There would be like official type competitions that they arranged, but the rules varied and all that stuff. There'd be judges and stuff for those. But
how do you get to be a judge?
I don't know. Somebody likes you enough, they'll give you that position, or they respect your opinion enough about rapping.
Swish.
Good evening, Mr. Farrow.
Hey, good evening, y'all.
We are
Yeah.
live. We're about to clean up on the tail end of our AMA today, which went pretty well, and we're just asking each other random questions. I was just asking Dolio, what do rap battles ever go into overtime? And then that led into, how do you get to be a judge in a rap battle?
Have nothing better to do.
Be one of the loud guys in the circle around the rappers?
That's what I was gonna say.
No.
Well, I don't know. Well, I've seen some battles where like the judges were like veteran MCs. You know, people who would really be able to judge your bars.
That's really the issue. Like, everybody will be able to, Hassel kind of dig a bar or whatever, but I'm not really concerned with your opinion unless you can spit. You know what I mean? Like, you can tell me if you like it or not. That's fine. But, yeah, I'm not sure I can really trust most opinions. It's like me judging, telling somebody they can't dunk if they just dunked. Like, all right, you're not Vince Carter, but I can't tell you can't dunk because you just did that.
I don't think I've ever witnessed a rap battle in real life that wasn't like a schoolhouse on the street rap battle where the judges were people saying "oh" at the sides of the MC. So
I was in one. I was
in a few of them at the 5 spot.
I did one at the 5 spot. Actually battled one of my homies, my man Slim Dism. And then I did one Rocksteady. I actually battled Immortal Technique.
Oh,
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that, at least the ones that the 5 spot, it was the audience judging it.
I
So it
battled
was more
Immortal
like
Technique,
crowd reaction.
and the judges
I
were
don't know, like,
what we call the arsonists, and the arsonists were the judges.
uh-huh. I remember the arsonist. I
I
want to say
won
though,
my-
Randy, you might say that like you're not in a position to judge anybody on their whatever that they're good at, but actually I think that would be a really great show. It's like our son judges whatever, like baking show or like sculpture or like just what you name it. Randy shows up
you can,
Shit's
and is
whack.
like, I'll tell you what's what with that.
Oh, that's dope.
you
All
can
right,
judge,
cool.
you
I
can
would
judge
watch
my
that show.
soft-boiled egg.
Yeah. Is anybody other than Sleeves familiar with John Hodgman's capacity of in his capacity of judging things? It's I guess he does like a show or a podcast or something, but they'll do a little print blurb edition in the paper, and he just like will judge just random petty stuff. Like, what's a good example? It's almost like an advice column.
I've been on his show before. It's really funny. It's
Like
funny
the
when-
merits of brown gravy versus white gravy. Yeah,
Say what?
fun stuff. And then he renders verdicts.
I don't want these Lego pieces upstairs. Legos stay down here.
Yeah, no Lego pieces upstairs.
Yeah,
No,
No Legos.
no.
that's really important.
You can work on those.
Now, fully crafted Lego items, like if you make a whole Lego spaceship, I feel like you should be able to take that upstairs.
Yeah.
Yes, technically Lego pieces are involved, but they are no longer in piece form. They are in whole Lego construction form. So, right, that's got to be okay.
Yeah.
When
Once
can a Lego be considered truly whole?
Well,
When it
every
has-
single Lego is truly whole. Even the little
Right.
2 Legos. I love the little 2 Legos. Those are my favorite.
Right.
Those are my favorite.
I feel like
Legos are so weird now, though.
are they? They're the same as they used to be, right?
Oh no, they're all like bizarre shapes and stuff, because so it used to be that you would buy a bunch of Legos and you would put them together to make something you wanted to make, right? You just use your imagination, like Lincoln Logs or. But now they're sold in sets. Like you're making a space shuttle, or you're making a bulldozer, or you're making the Millennium Falcon. And so there's all these specialized parts. There's like windshields and arms and levers and there's way less in the way of your standard like 2x4 Lego or 2x1 Lego. It's like there's a lot of like parts that wheels attached to, and they're like slanted, and yeah, it's a whole different Lego world.
Funny you should say that. We got a bunch of those around here.
Yeah, right. Because I was trying to build something at Wrench's house. Wrench has an amazing collection of Legos, just an outrageous. Like I think it was the first time I stayed there. He had an entire room full.
What is this?
With
There's
that
It's from Huevo.
and I tried to make a pencil case.
That's para ti.
Somewhere I might grab it later and show you, but like just a rectangle pencil case, and it was impossible to make. It ended up having a windshield in it and a little Godzilla on the corner and like gaps in it and random angles, and it's a whole new world. If I had been making a bulldozer or something, I would have been fine.
maybe that would be the problem to some of our CO2 emission issues in this world. Why don't we just start making everything out of Legos? Power plant, Legos.
Mhm.
That we get from that power plant. Why not nuclear? Why don't we use Lego power? I don't know what Lego power looks like.
Lego power.
It's the little, the little gear wheel with the crank, and then
Yeah.
that drives the axles on the car. That's Lego power. It's you cranking a crank. So
We just need a lot of people cranking cranks. One of those big old nuclear silos, but like made out of Legos.
yeah.
This is the thing I was trying to do.
Ah.
Right?
All right.
It was not possible. Oh, there's a smiley face. That's his.
I noticed that immediately.
And that's it. You know. But you can't do it anymore. It's not possible. I defy someone to make one of these with a pack of today's Legos. If you can do it, I will personally include you in the contest winning. I will add a space in the contest winning for somebody who can actually take a modern Lego set, not old Legos, but go get a modern Lego set and make this.
You know, they still
On this
do
episode,
sell modern
Sleeves, Judges, Legos.
They still do sell modern Lego sets that have just blocks. You know that, right?
Yes.
I have not seen those, but I believe you. You have a child.
Yeah, you don't see those in the store so much. I think you can order them. Or maybe you can get them at the Lego store. But like if you go to Target, it's all sets that are very specialized to branded tie-ins to movies and stuff.
Store? What is that?
Yeah, I was at Dad. What's a store?
Yeah. So should we talk about answering anything?
All right.
As we did today, we answered anything.
Yeah.
No, store.
Just things.
Yeah. So let's. I guess let's just sort of go through them in order here. We've got a bunch of things that we answered earlier in the day.
I encouraged people on Facebook just now to ask us anything. Jail Patterson wants us to talk about. Huh?
That's Yaya.
Yael.
Yael? There we go. Okay, I see it. Yael Patterson. She wants us to tell about electron orbitals. Anybody want to take this?
So when you say that she wants us to tell about electron orbitals, did she just spontaneously ask that, or did you say ask us about electron orbitals?
Among other things, I said ask us about several things. Electron orbitals was one of them.
All right. Well, who wants to take that one?
I feel like this has to be Ranger Dolio.
Yeah, I'd love to hear Dolio.
Actually, fun fact though, I did a one-man play about Bohr and Rutherford coming up with like the model for the atom based on the electron, the spectra, the chromatographic.
Yo, man, this is hardcore nerdage. I almost want to
I had a little tweed suit and stuff.
I found out something crazy the other day that after Niels Bohr won a Nobel Prize, he lived next to a brewery, and they actually installed a pipe from the brewery to his house, and he had just like beer out of a tap in his house that was coming directly from the brewery next door.
Wow, that is super baller.
Yeah, it is.
we could look into building a building next to the Sagamore Distillery.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
And we make the pipeline out of Legos.
We will need
Dolio.
specialty Legos for that.
Nobody guessed on our Ask Me Another who was from.
Yeah, let's not
went to
reveal that
MIT.
yet then.
Right,
Let's see what.
Yeah, I feel like the people on Facebook probably know this already.
Maybe they do.
Question?
Wait, are we going to talk about the electron cloud or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured it'd be Wrench.
Oh.
It's been more your bag.
All right.
I mean, my atomic knowledge usually hovers around the stellar atomic processes and stuff, and then I just kind of got more into Newtonian mechanics.
Here's the crazy thing is that on the level of an atom, things don't work smoothly. They go in steps, and there's actually an amount of energy that is not. You don't just go smoothly in amounts of energy, which is why when you look at an atom and you've got the protons and the neutrons in the nucleus, they're big and heavy compared to an electron that's going around the outside. And if you actually calculated like the mass of the protons and the neutrons, there would be enough gravity to pull the electron in, and the electron will come in and crash into the nucleus. Now, why isn't it doing that?
Yeah, why isn't it doing it?
Why wouldn't the electron just get pulled in by the gravity of the nucleus of the atom? And the reason is that it can't. because there's not smooth steps of energy that it can pull off on the way there, and so it only goes around certain certain orbits around the nucleus that correspond to a certain level of energy. Now, if another electron or something comes in and hits that atom and gives it a bunch of new energy, then the electron actually jumps up to a higher orbit around the nucleus of the atom. And you can have several electrons going in several orbits, but they don't go in between these specified ranges of energy, so that they're just always just popping instantly from one orbit to the next.
And we say orbits, but the electron path is nonlinear, right?
It's not like a ball going around. It's a sort of a path of where it probably is, which can be calculated anywhere around the nucleus of the atom within that orbital path. And so it has its highest probability at a certain point, but there's no like, oh, there's definitely an electron right here at this time. There's just sort of this cloud of probabilities of electrons being in a certain orbital.
Did you see this comment on Facebook from Christy Giles or Giles? Apologies if I messed that up. I recently discovered y'all by accident, and I feel like I've finally found my musical people. Love your vibe. And I trust that part of loving that vibe is the fact that we're talking about particle physics on a stream by a bluegrass hip hop band. So.
Yes. Unfortunately, not
Gotcha.
phrased in the form of a question, so disqualified. But
Oh.
Ooh, here's a good question coming in from Erica Wallstrom. What's the weirdest fact you learned about a venue you played once you got there?
Ooh.
One of them was
not a Gangstagrass
one
venue.
of them was clearly haunted.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah, the one in Wisconsin.
Madison.
Madison, Wisconsin, and they took us down to where I guess the source of the haunt was.
Yes.
Yep.
So they took us down to the basement, and then they're like, oh, and by the way, there's ghosts here. Like, we don't think we're going to use this for our green room tonight. This is way too creepy.
And then they locked the door, and we're actually still there. Coming to you live from Madison.
I think one of the weirder gigs I had was like, I don't know, a weird wine party in an old slave market. I was like,
Wow.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. You'd be surprised at how many venues get converted from old slave markets. More than one.
Yeah.
I'm still hung up on the beer pipe for Niels Bohr. Like, I want to play in the venue that's like, you know, fun fact, this venue had a beer pipe for Niels Bohr coming out of it. He lived right next door.
No, I want to play a gig at his place next door, not the beer venue.
Yeah.
The tap is still free.
Man, any other weird venues?
Let's say this. I don't think I really understood Inchira and what it was until we got there.
I thought it was pronounced Inchuria.
I have not heard that.
At least that's how our secret agent / driver pronounced it.
Maybe that's the Welsh pronunciation. So yeah, it was just one of the tour stops on this UK trip, and then like I started hearing things, especially like the driver that was driving us there was like, oh, so you know about Inchuria, that's a Scottish estate with the Lord and the Lady, and I was like, okay, but that didn't really give me the actual picture of just what we were walking into when we got there, which was driving across this long estate with Highland cattle roaming around, and then getting to this mansion, and
we basically turned it. It was Narnia. It was Narnia.
It was. And
With
when
a
we say
secret
Highland
garden and
cattle, Highland cattle is not just like saying like a brown cow versus like a white cow no. Highland cattle are a completely different kind of Pokemon, okay? It's the evolution. It's the cows are the baby version, and then Highland cattle are like if you expose it to the like Scottish monster stone. Highland cattle are a different thing.
Wait, would it be a Taurus, or I guess I'm not up on my new Pokemon because
Tauros, first of all, is within the original 151, so there's no excuse there. Tauros is absolutely original.
Okay,
there you
guys.
go. Yeah, definitely don't warn anybody when you're gonna do screen sharing of Highland Qs.
Nope.
Yeah, the healing
no
I
cue.
mean, look at you, so cute.
Yeah, that's
That
the
is
deal.
a healing cue.
That's what they.
If
That's
you're
what they
gonna
look
say the
like.
cue, you gotta say the healing.
Healing
Q.
they are really cute.
Yep. So I'm just digging through some of the newer questions that we got. So, we did this AMA and we started around 1 this afternoon and did it for about hour and a half, 2 hours, and answered a bunch of questions. And then we said, let's leave it rolling and let's bring in some more questions, and then we'll get to them tonight, which is cool because then it's not as limited. And I'm reading through, and a couple of them are, you guys are great, no question, just you're great.
What about I noticed there's one. I'd like to hear what you think of Donald and Boris, and I must assume that we were, of course, talking about Donald Duck and Boris from Bullwinkle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
Sure.
I love Boris.
I thought that Donald Duck and Boris were just an adorable couple when they got together. I was like, finally.
Right.
Yeah, personally, I felt that Donald Duck was abused a lot, especially considering that he was suffering from PTSD. People forget that he served in World War II.
That's right.
True.
I mean, that's why he walked around with no pants all the time, because he was just,
It was his
brain was
prerogative.
fried.
Yeah.
Oh,
We think it's funny, but it's actually tragic.
Right. He used to talk normal.
I was gonna say, does that explain the speech impediment? That's awful.
Yeah, that was
bad
from an
laughing
injury.
voice.
That was from mustard gas.
Oh my God! Wait, he fought in World War I?
Yeah, he was in both of them, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
How long has Disney been around? They've been making
Disney's been
propaganda
around,
films
dude.
forever.
Okay, so
20?
I was reading about the movie Dumbo. They were gonna give Mammal of the Year, like Time magazine, to Dumbo. And then Pearl Harbor happened. So like that's how old Dumbo is.
Yeah, I know it was super duper old. Because I saw the making of Dumbo, and that was in black and white.
Yeah.
And it was back when they were painting every cell.
Yeah.
And weird thing, Walt Disney did not allow women to be animators, but he allowed them to paint the cells. So they had they kept the campus completely separated by gender, which is kind of creepy.
I mean, he was also an anti-Semite, so like.
I'm a pro-Semite.
Well, amongst other things, there's a reason why Song of the South is no longer shown in theaters.
Word.
Yes. There's another
anyway.
question coming in asking which one of us can do the best Donald Duck impression.
All right, that's it. It's Brian Farrow. He's
There we
the
go.
best one.
I think I can only make that sound. I'm not sure if I can talk like that. No, I can just make.
I don't
Yeah.
think I can talk like that. No, but actually, I
yeah,
did pick that
pretty
up
much.
from my granddad. He does that.
Oh, that's good. That was good. That was very
Yeah.
good. That's it.
You're laughing
Mike
at a
is
war
from
hero.
Banjo.
Remember this.
Okay.
Donald Duck has seen some
Right
shit.
to-
Pantsless war hero.
I would like to do a Donald Duck impression in the form of the Count from Sesame Street doing an impression of Donald Duck. Donald Duck. Hi, I'm Donald Duck. No wearing any pants. I'm a duck. I'm a duck.
One pantsless duck.
Zero
World War
pants.
II, pantsless duck.
What a
Remember,
mess.
all of his nephews did that stuff too. Like, it really
I mean, that's the. Still no.
Do you remember the ducklings?
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Fun other fact. So, the ducklings, and then Donald has an uncle, and the uncle is Uncle Scrooge,
Mm-hmm.
Scrooge McDuck, Scottish,
Mhm.
and we have a friend, Megan Jean, good friend Megan Jean, who's performed with us, recorded the vocal track on Barn Burning, and I learned about, this is really a fact about her, not about us, but she is a super duper fan of Scrooge McDuck. She's just so down with him. She loves it so much. And I found a Scrooge poster one time in a comic shop, and I mailed it to her.
I'm loving the new Scrooge McDuck. You know who did an AMA just the other day, like a couple days ago, was David Tennant, who is the new Scrooge McDuck.
Oh, really?
Wow.
No show is that work.
Okay.
That's kind of
New
cool.
DuckTales is that work.
It's so good.
I didn't know
I
that.
like that Huey, Louie, and Dewey have a lot more personality. Like they're much more distinctive and personality-full than they were on the old DuckTales.
Wait,
DuckTales,
I feel like I
thought
need to
was
check out. I need to check out the new DuckTales. I used to jam out to that theme song, yo.
right?
It's still
Was
so
that
good.
another? Was that another one
DuckTales.
by the Jets?
DuckTales is awesome.
DuckTales is awesome.
That's the theme. That's the theme.
DuckTales.
Huh.
So we're getting some questions about how did y'all discover
yeah,
your
well,
unique
DuckTales.
sound?
Woo!
Oh snap! That reminds me. I have to send some questions to those answers to Fiona tonight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, thank you for reminding me.
Shout out to Fiona.
I will say though, the DuckTales theme is solid, but
Yeah.
I would not say that it is the best theme even of its era, because you were up against themes like, and keeping it simple was sometimes the move. Like, let's take the Goof Troop theme. Goof Troop theme. Anybody? Goof Troop theme is this. Goof Troop. Ba-do-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-do-ba. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Goof Troop theme. That's the whole theme. And then you have the theme for Doug on Nickelodeon, different channel, but still of the same era. And the Doug theme was just not even any words. It was just it was just like an a cappella band. And then all the scene transitions, you know how in South Park it's all like bluegrass dobro stuff for the scene transitions? So
Yeah.
dude, it's like Primus doing dobro work. Dude, the South Park music is something else. But in Doug, all the scene transitions were just somebody going. That's quality TV music right there. Is what that is.
But I allowed you to say all that so that I could put this up for him.
Uh-oh.
Pokemon theme song.
Do it. Yeah. That's the one. That's the one. And you
That
compare
is
it with,
that's the beast, the all-time GOAT.
Yep.
And then maybe Chippendale's Rescue Rangers.
That's a good one.
Tails is really great.
Chip
What about-
and Dales.
That is really good.
Does
What about
any-
Animaniacs? I mean, Animaniacs had their songs inside the show were even better.
Even
right?
better. Yeah.
I
The
can
theme
still
song
sing
is
all
not
the
even the
countries
best song
of
in
the
that
world.
show. Yeah.
But the
Yeah,
theme song is
but I think
really
it's-
good.
Yeah, I feel like, but Chippendale's Rescue Rangers has this whole journey it takes you through,
It really
and
does.
mood swings in it. It's got dynamics to it.
Yeah, man.
And the same with Pokemon,
Yeah.
especially if you listen to the full version with the guitar
second
solo
verse
and the whole.
and the solo.
Yeah, the
and
second
the
verse.
modulation.
You guys in that Pokemon theme, dude.
So
Wait,
I don't know that we've ever talked about anything that it didn't somehow wind up back to y'all talking about the goddamn Pokemon.
That's right.
look,
That's right. It all comes back.
Yo, it's because that song is so effing awesome.
And it didn't have to be that awesome. And you know why it
You're
didn't
right.
have to be that awesome? Because you look at the Digimon theme, which is just
Stop
so
it.
flat in every way that the Pokemon theme is awesome. You look at like Pokemon's a 3-syllable word, right? How do you set that? You could do like Pokemon right before the beat, or you could be like Pokemon. You could hit it hard. Digimon theme, they're just like, well, let's get this paycheck. Digimon, Digimon, Digimon is an awesome show. That's the show. Digimon. They did not care. I'm sorry,
Because
Digimon. They did
I
not
just
care.
gotta highlight my favorite song from that era, from a Goofy movie, "Seeing It Eye to Eye." Does anybody remember that?
Yes. Yeah, whole movie, man. And there's so many good songs. Even the not good songs in that movie are good. Lester's Possum Park.
Yeah, thank
Every
you.
song. The Open
Thank
Road is a bullshit song, but it's a good song. Every song from that movie is a banger. Stand Out is a banger.
Yes, it is.
Everything in that movie is so
If we're
good.
going to talk, listen,
Yeah.
you're going to talk about quality animated music, and you're not talking about the entire soundtrack to Transformers the movie, then you shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because the soundtrack to Transformers the movie is one of the greatest things that humans have ever done.
Yeah, I know. I feel like that wasn't. I feel like most of that music was not intended to be used in a cartoon, except for the Transformers theme part.
Yes.
Listen, that the whole John was amazing because you had all these bands that thought that this was going to be the thing and they was going to take off. Like Lion was one of them, and
Yeah, it was a bunch of because it took a while for them to even get it. That's why the re-release didn't happen immediately. Is because by the time they were getting ready to re-release the movie, everybody was a giant.
what the bands
It's like that
Really?
in the
No, they
yeah.
weren't.
It's like that.
No,
Or was it? Oh, sorry,
It-
I'm thinking of heavy metal.
yeah, exactly. Heavy metal. Yeah, yeah.
Heavy metal.
Transformers movie. There's nobody. It was like Lion. What's the other guy's name? David somebody or other did a couple of them. But nobody. Yeah, those dudes. They took that money from that soundtrack. They got really really drunk and really really high, and then something happened to Sleeves that she's really astounded by.
I didn't mean to interrupt with my face.
No, that's fine.
But Dan McDowell over on the YouTube comments just said there's a new Animaniacs series coming soon.
Yeah, November.
Oh man.
How did you
That's
you
awesome.
knew this, our son, and you did not tell me?
I just saw something about it today.
I am beside myself with excitement.
You know what though?
You go on. Do go on.
Animaniacs theme, I want to cut in, not as good as the Freakazoid theme. Also,
Yeah.
just as a show, Freakazoid is a better show, and as a character,
Stop
Freakazoid
it.
is a better
Stop
character.
it. No. Freakazoid's not a better
so
show
much
than
better.
Animaniacs. Freakazoid is awesome. Freakazoid is amazing.
I
Not
don't know
better
that
than
show, but I can't imagine it's better than Animaniacs.
Oh my
Not
god.
better than
Or the
Animaniacs. And
barber
Animaniacs
cuts his hair, Freakazoid.
Animaniacs is like
I
freaking
miss
me, freaking you.
I was doing something. I feel like I was jogging or something the other day, and like the tempo of it was exactly just the theme of that song, and I just started running through my head. Oh my god.
Oh, and
You're
yeah,
talking about-
we have watched some Letterkenny. Mark Wanzel. We have definitely watched
for
some
sure.
Letterkenny. We often will just sort of run into what is it? Pay attention to
Your butt's hole.
Yeah, pay some
Pay
attention.
attention to our butts holes.
Plural tensions to your buttholes.
Yes.
But you guys were talking about music soundtracks for animated things, and Olivia Kay hit me to the fact that the Princess and the Frog movie has a banger soundtrack. It's
Yeah,
all
pretty dope.
it's all Cajun stuff. It's got Kermit Ruffins did the music coordination on
Yeah.
that, so it's all like nice.
Yeah, the Princess and the Frog soundtrack is hot. That thing is real dope.
Yeah, that one was really good. I need to rewatch that movie. It's been a while. I've
That was
only,
a while ago with the kids.
I'm gonna have to get the kids.
That's awesome. We also had someone in the YouTube comments who said, I'm 51 and I love your music. And I love that so often the fans are like announce their age before they tell us how much they like the music. I think that's very cool. And it doesn't, it could be like, like what was his name? The kid who drew the thing for us, French,
Oh yeah, Jonah.
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 Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Right. So it's a very wide range. It's a very, very wide range. Little kids,
actually,
grandparents, everybody between.
So Mark, who asked about Letterkenny, asked a question in the form of didn't sound like a question, but it is a good question, which is, let me know what I can do to promote you guys.
Aw.
So I think people have an idea of, like I like this band and I want to help, and the realities are constantly changing in this weird business in this weird time. So what is everybody's like the one thing it would just mean a lot to me? Like it wouldn't even help our business or whatever. Like what's one thing I just wish that people would do that if a few people did, it would be really cool?
Yeah, that word of mouth is just super important. Just people making their own posts or, emailing or texting people just to be like, hey, I just found this awesome band and I want to send you this link to it. Check it out.
Yeah, actually playing the music for people. Oh, play it for them in your car when they can't escape.
Right. Yeah, just as
Very
the door
important.
shuts. Like, do you drive
Right.
for Uber? Do you drive for Lyft? The door shuts. Hey, man, so we got about a 45-minute drive ahead of us. This new Gangstagrass album is, what is it, 38, 42 minutes?
Hey, Gangstagrass.
About that.
Yeah.
Situation.
Mark says he plays our music for everyone he comes across, which I like to picture that literally, that he's just walking around with the player and anybody
Just
that he
walking
comes
out of-
across.
Hey, man,
Hello,
what you doing?
Gangstagrass. Yes,
Come here.
hello, Gangstagrass.
There's something to that. Yeah, so sharing the music on the socials and playing it for your friends, because sometimes you'll tell somebody about it and they'll just be like, oh, that's curious and interesting, and then not go and look at it, and then like whatever months or years later they'll hear something, go, that's amazing, yeah, that's that band I told you about ages ago. Yeah, play the music for them, and the Barnstormers, gangstagrass.com/barnstormers, and that's less about the promotion and more about the reward for the people who are the really, the fans who really want to support. And that's basically like our personal Patreon. So it ranges, the lowest is $4 a month and you get a bunch of exclusive content. And if you go up to the next level, you get a bunch of very exclusive content, stuff that, unreleased live songs and all sorts of really, really cool stuff. And, at higher levels, shout outs and hangouts with the band and stuff like that. So you can get all the goodies that way.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got some love in the comments for the Darkwing Duck theme.
Yeah.
Darkwing Duck.
We got a comment that's a hot theme song.
Yeah, Darkwing Duck.
Mike.
Oh, hey, and Wendy Joseph, coming out of Australia, says, I'm 70, reckon you're great. And call up Wendy, call up Triple J and tell them to play our music. Maybe they already are, in which case that's awesome. But that's a great way to promote the band. Call up a radio station and say, hey, I love this band, play this band. Or if you happen to hear us getting played on a station, like I know WTMD in Baltimore plays Gangstagrass, call them up and ask for more. But definitely, if you're in Australia, call up Triple J and say, I want to hear Gangstagrass, and tell them that the new album is out. It's a brand new album, so there's a good opportunity to get that music out there now.
You gotta do it exactly like this. Yo, you know what I want to hear, right? What you want to hear? I want to hear that Gangstagrass. Gangstagrass again? Oh yeah, get it again.
Yeah, and once the borders are opened up again, convince them to book us. I haven't done anything that hemisphere in a while.
Yep.
I haven't been to that hemisphere.
We got some deep questions on Facebook. JL's coming in again with, is your group sound where you want it to be? And where do you see it evolving to? And Greg Spence says, what do each of you aspire to inspire each night? What are you individually trying to reach within your own soundscapes? And along those same lines, Colin Kemp says, could my dad Colin from Scotland get a shout out?
Colin, what up, cuz?
Colin's
Yo.
dad. This is for Colin's dad. You're the best. Thank you for making Colin.
What is
Yeah.
up,
Yes.
man?
Yeah, we love
Scotland,
Scotland.
what up?
Yeah.
Gangstagrass loves Scotland.
Scotland
Yes,
and all the
indeed.
Collins in it.
Yeah, we'll shout you out even if you don't run an Italian restaurant. But of course, if you do, we'll still shout you out.
That's right. What's the name of that
Big up
restaurant?
to Frizzante.
Frizzantes.
Every
Connie.
time.
You gotta
We're
hit that
never
up. You
we're
gotta
never
see
gonna
that.
be
Oh,
there and not go to Frizzante's.
Yeah.
There's the
Just like
jam.
I can't go to Glasgow without going to Calabash.
Gotta go to Calabash.
Yes.
Yep.
So any thoughts about how we're doing on what we're on how things are measuring up to your aspirations or where you're trying to go with things individually
That's some
in the
exercise.
band?
Can I say this one? Can I say this
Yeah.
one?
Say this one.
Domination. Sorry. It all goes back to Wu-Tang for me, and it's all just.
That's okay.
You know what? I'm happy where I am, except I wouldn't. You know what? I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind just randomly walking down the street. You know what I mean? And having people be like, "Was it the bus?" That's all. That's all. I just want that. I just want that.
And
Just
how
want
about on an artistic level? How you feeling about where we're going?
you know what? I think that if there wasn't so much other stuff that we have to do, you know, as individuals, and we were just making music, like this thing would be ridiculous, dude. I would love to, you know, and to have like the Gangstagrass vault, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? We're just making music, and it's like, well, I don't have to go to my day job because we're making music and people love it and they're throwing money at us. Like that I would love to be able to fill the Gangstagrass vault.
Let's do it. We're working on it.
Yeah,
That would make me very happy.
You're
yeah,
here.
that would be dope.
I've been
I mean-
thinking about like consistency versus diversity in terms of or variability, I guess. Like Pharaoh just recently had the opportunity, and y'all don't know this necessarily, but Pharaoh is a phenomenal bass player, all right? But if you've seen us recently, you've seen him playing fiddle, at which he is also very good. But you can only play one thing at a time, right? And I play other instruments other than banjo too. And you know, I think there's a value to doing something that's reliable. But I wouldn't mind getting to shake it up a little bit and change up how we do things. Not that one way is better than another way, but just I like doing both, you know? Pharaoh?
Well,
Yeah, I don't. When it comes to our sound, it's just like there's just so many places to go with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like what? Like what's a place?
I don't know. Maybe if we get back together and start experimenting with music more, maybe just bringing like you said, just bringing my bass and different ways that I play my bass to like what Gangstagrass is doing, and I don't know when those questions just make me wonder, like always existentially wondering about how is music relevant in a healthy way all the time, and like you know how can you release music in a way that's real, like that has a purpose, that tells a story, that communicates something. And I think we're on the new album. I think we're doing a lot of that on there, but I'm
Yeah.
keeping that in mind. I always wanted to have a utility.
Right. New favorite question. Dylan Ross. He said, "I've had this question for a long time. What are you thinking in this photo?"
Now,
Wait.
he didn't like hold one up, did he?
No,
Specify
no.
photo?
So just say what you're thinking in this photo. I'm thinking that is bigger than I expected it to be.
I think we're all
I can't see the photo.
No,
He-
just
he
say
goes
what you're
first.
thinking in the photo.
I'm thinking, is Linda's camera gonna take the shot this time?
That's his-
How about now?
right.
How
That's
about
true,
now?
because based on us being in a photo together, of all the photos that have been taken, there's like a pretty good percentage chance that it's being taken by Linda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that case, I'm thinking. In that case, I know what I'm thinking. What type of pie? What type of pie are we gonna have tonight?
Mm,
I'm
yes.
still trying to figure out who,
Making a pie over there, Dolio?
I'm making brownies.
Nice.
Oh. Somebody's baking brownies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hence the gigantic value-sized bag of walnuts.
There you go.
Yum.
I feel like I don't have a real like I don't have a real like thing that I'm very specifically trying to attain sound wise, just because as the producer, I'm always kind of making what I wanted to make, and so there was like 4 albums there of like a very specific Gangstagrass sound to me, and now I'm in the phase of like I did that, and now it's kind of like just like do some fun stuff and see what comes out, and like enjoy that. So it's kind of this album is definitely less on a very specific drive to make a certain sound as much as it was just like this collaboration where we just did a bunch of different songs, and it sounds to me a lot more just like some musicians like going different places, and it's not all hooked into the like a bluegrass hip hop idea, although it is because that's what we're playing. But there's so many more different nooks and crannies to it that are popping up.
You're reminding me the way you say that of I think probably some of my favorite bluegrass albums, and I don't know. I want to hear from you guys about like if there's hip hop. I mean, we've definitely talked to some people. We talked to Hank, right, about like Public Enemy and you know the idea of bands that are so obviously bluegrass or so obviously hip hop that then like are within it, but also like go in a direction, like do something. I don't know if there's such a thing as progressive hip hop, but there's definitely such a thing as progressive bluegrass where like okay, you're all playing bluegrass instruments, but then like you're not trying to like play bluegrass. You're going in some other direction with it, which I think is just so cool.
Wouldn't the Roots just be like right on that spectrum?
Yeah, they're taking it in a new place.
Yeah.
I think of Outkast in that spectrum a lot, just how much they were like doing things that like just really departed from what you thought of as a hip hop sound. Like if you listen to Hey Ya, right? Like
Yeah.
you think it's a hip hop song only because it's Outkast, right? But if some other group had done that, you'd be like, listen to this rock song.
Yeah. I mean, I as a banjo player, that's how I feel. I'm just like I can very easily just say, like, well, you know, it's bluegrass because there's a banjo in it, and so I could do probably anything with the banjo, and people be like, "That's some weird bluegrass," but okay.
Right.
That leads just please keep answering this question, but there's another question in the AMA about what are some of your musical inspirations, both from the hip hop side and the bluegrass side. So they're kind of tying together.
Yeah,
so just
and
you know that question.
There's another phrasing. Christy Giles again came back with which came first, the gangsta or the grass, and she clarified it sounds like a joke, but it's not a joke, for real. This is a real question.
Gangsta all day, every day. So, what else?
I saw Pharaoh do something incredibly gangsta last night, and I will not tell you what it was.
No, not yet. You'll see it.
But
eventually.
right. You might see it in a police report. No, I'm kidding. But it was incredibly gangsta. It was very impressive.
No.
I'm not sure which one of the things I did last night it would be.
Yeah, you'll just have to think about it.
Okay, yeah.
Wait, now I want to know. Okay, so which came first? Which came first, the gangster or the grass?
Yo, I just said the gangster. What more do I have to say, bro?
All right, moving on. Next question. That was easy.
Dolio, were you saying something about inspirations and influences, or about the way you want to take the sound?
Yeah, well, first it was going to be about the way we're trying to take the sound, and I think a lot of that has to do with the influences, because everybody in the band has a different. We all have shared influences, but we also have a diverse set of different influences, and I feel like at least the most recent projects, actually every one of them really, it's been sort of an evolution of bringing in more of, I guess, that collaboration and bringing in the more diverse influences, which is why each album has a different sound.
That's right.
Having a band that I guess already openly defies genre allows us to explore all of that. So as far as like a direction I want to take it, is kind of just having the opportunity to take that journey and explore like the all this untouched territory or seldom traveled territory to come out with some of the funkiest, soulful, you know, stuff that we can make, you know. And really, for me, it's always trying to get um, an emotion out of it, you know, whether that emotion be like, I want to shake my butt, or inspirational, or sometimes you're in a somber mood and you want to, you know, go and, you know, deal with sorrow. Those are all emotions and feelings. And I feel like when you can touch into that emotional state, then you have a better connection with the person who's listening to it. And it also is something that it gives you, it allows you to have that feeling when you're performing it. You know, that's probably one of the reasons why so many folks have compared Gangstagrass shows to like the Church of Gangstagrass. It's because of that connection we're trying to make with our music.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah.
But as far as influences, there's a bunch. Like MC wise, I'm thinking like Bun B, Brother J, Chuck D, those type of things. And then, you know, I also got like blues singers and stuff in there.
When I think about influences, like the ones that come immediately to mind aren't bluegrass or hip hop. Like in my wheelhouse, the things that come immediately to mind are things like Band of Gypsies. I really love Band of Gypsies. I never stopped listening to the Band of Gypsies album. I just love what all three of those musicians did together. And then like disco stuff is, I grew up playing those bass lines. The first thing I did when I got a bass was learn like Bootsy Collins' Rubber Band Man on the bass. And
yeah.
Like those funk bass lines, they're just so creative. It's endless amounts of groove, and you track back some of those bass lines, and I don't know, something like reggae or rock steady. Just the individualism of each. That's inspiration to me.
Yeah. Does anybody have any non-musical influences that influence how you approach music? I don't know if that makes sense, but just
Toyota.
He said Toyota?
Oh. No, I'm honest. I'm being serious. Toyota. Well, when I was studying engineering, well, there was a point when I was also studying design or manufacturing systems. And we learned then what was called, at that time it was called TPS, or the Toyota Production System, which we now call the lean manufacturing method. And in software, it kind of got translated into something called agile.
Huh.
So that methodology of production is how I approach production when it comes to music. The way it's set up is so that if you're dealing with a physical product, you're not accumulating an inventory. So you make sure you have all the pieces just when you need them. So that translates into also making a queue of different things that need to be done and organizing it in a way so that you get it done when you need to have it done.
Yeah.
So that is, so, it means I'm setting up a set of tickets, a bunch of little Post-it notes in my studio of the stuff that's in production, what stage of production they're in, what's missing from this particular piece of the production, and I'm trying to get them over to this side into the done stage. So by visualizing it and putting it in a way I can actually see it, it allows me to execute it. So that's a non-musical influence.
That's like for if you're creating a new song or a new beat or something.
Right, but an album to me is more, well, any project has got its pieces. So when you're talking about putting together all the tracks, then you have, okay, these are the songs that are in what stage are they in? What are the things that are missing? This one needs lyrics. This one needs a beat done. This one needs to be mixed. This one needs mastering. This one needs, to be rehued, or the vocals on this are salty, so they need to be redone. And all of that stuff is stuff I put into this chart where I can see, so I know, okay, what do I have done? What needs to be done? What's in progress? And all of that.
I would say tying back to the start of our stream, I would say Legos for me are something that ties into my production style, which is a lot about taking pieces and seeing what you have available and going through the process of figuring out how they actually fit together to make something like what you want. So in Legos, like you might have, Legos from all these different sets, and they're in this big box together, and you start imagining, oh, I'm going to make a vehicle. I know I need 2 axles. Let me find the axles. Let me find these wheels. Okay, and I'm putting this frame on them. Okay, that's 12 bumps long. And here's the thing. So I need a thing for the side. That's 6 bumps long. I need another 6 bump thing to put on here to make it a length. And you're just like doing these calculations and then searching for that thing that fits just what you're thinking of to be in there, which happens to me with music a lot of times, especially in the kind of production that we did on a lot of this album, of people sending me separate tracks that I'm then mixing together. And I'm saying, okay, I know, that this verse is, this verse is 16 bars, right? And okay, here's this awesome banjo part that's 8 bars long, and then if that's going to drop out, like I can loop this fiddle thing for 8 bars, or I can have it like just thinking about the lengths of things, and a lot of just little cutting and snipping and figuring out how something can fit in just right to make the whole thing work.
Yeah.
That's a really cool answer.
I want to hear everybody's answer on this question, because these are already 2 really cool answers.
Yeah, I have one for my non-musical stuff, but what do you got, Pharaoh?
I mean, I did some, I guess, political work, campaigning work, when I was younger. So that sort of stuff inspires me in what I do for music. I think I've had these bar gigs, these 3-hour bar gigs where I'm leading a band on electric bass, and like I've just got like random blues lyrics in my head, and I can just whip together a song. If I've got a good band, I can lead them, and I can sing a song and pass around solos, and it's a good time, and people will dance. That's easy. It's really hard to be more disciplined about your creative craft and really think of something that's going to be poignant and impactful, and put the effort in to chase those creative thoughts that are more meaningful.
Yeah, that's really meaningful to me.
I've made a song for this album, but it was like, I don't know, it was something about shaking booties, and I just was uninspired to really finish it.
Yeah.
Next album.
I feel like the way that I try to approach exactly that in songwriting is like trying to. A lot of it is like Tchaikovsky talked about having to carry around a notepad because like inspiration would just hit and then it would just fly away. So he had to write it down immediately. And for me, it's kind of like it's like summoning, where it's all about you got to have a particular emotion or like emotional place or a headspace that you get into, and you need to figure out what it is that kicks that off or triggers it. And for me, like I had like an ex-girlfriend that I was writing about. I was stuck in traffic one time, and I was just like, man, I just feel some kind of way. And it can actually be healthy too, because you get to a place where you have all these emotions and you have all this feeling, and then it crystallizes and it goes from being chaotic into this single clarified feeling. And that's a lot of the work there. And then when you do that and you get that, you say, all right, I want to make a song about this. First of all, wow, okay, that's how I feel. And then I start writing the song, and that's where you have to apply the craft and So the trick to me is, what's the way that I can just bring that feeling back right when I need it, and hold on to it for a while, like summon the demon and then contain the demon in a little demon capsule for like 45 minutes while I figure out words that rhyme with each other, because you have to keep bringing that back in. It's what, for me, once I get away from how do you authentically feel, it's bullshit. Now it doesn't mean anything to me anymore, and I gotta get back. I gotta keep reminding myself, this song is coming from a place of feeling like this. And as long as I'm there while I'm writing, it might not be the best craft. That's where you have to work on the craft, but it's gonna come from that real place.
Nice. Rand, what you got?
Yeah.
I had to mute. There's all this noise in here, and quite honestly, that noise is the only reason I do anything. Motherfucking kids in here, it's loud and goofy and ridiculous, but like more fun than damn near anything in the world, you know. And so it's like, my dad was able to, you know, he worked his ass off to do so much for me and my kids, and I just, for me and my brother rather, and I'm just trying to do the same thing, you know what I mean? So when I'm old in a nursing home and they're like, all right, here you go, you be all right. They, you know, if they need to, you know, they need to just be in my house, taking up space like I'm doing now. Like, all right, it's here for them. And the really cool part about all of it is, you know, I can't write something that I don't believe in. You know what I mean? Even if it's on a level, like even if you go back and look at 2 Yards, like, yeah, we robbed a bank. I would never rob a bank, but you know, we had the opportunity to run over those kids, and we didn't do that. So we slammed on the brakes. You know what I mean? And you know, we had the opportunity to take the hostages, but we left them some money so they could, you know, throw the cops off our trail, that kind of shit. So even if it's like fictional, it's still based in some sense of my personal reality and morality. So that is kind of the thing, like being able to represent everything that I do for the people that mean something to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, you're never gonna hear my rap about the cartel, because, you know, the only cartel I know about is the one that does like different people's clothing lines, big cartel, and you order their stuff off of there. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? I can't really rep it, so it's got to be, you know, as real as possible. And the stuff that's real in my life is pretty real. So.
Awesome. Yeah, mine is so of course I'm on the ops side of things, but I do have a musical influence, which was They Might Be Giants. As a person who's very introverted, I know that's often hard to believe, but it's true. I would not typically, I avoid parties, I typically avoid concerts, so I wouldn't have even gotten used to going to concerts at all if not for how much I loved They Might Be Giants from like 6th grade. I mean, I absolutely just, their music spoke to me, and I have loved basically everything they've ever done. And there was a while there before I knew Gangstagrass that I you know, went to a lot of shows and knew a bunch of the people who were working on the crew, and you know, only officially worked with them a couple times, but would help out kind of with the merch and, you know, carrying stuff, whatever they needed. And their road manager, Scott Bozak, who's actually also their front of house, is watching him work really helped me understand how just big a job it is to be a tour manager, to be somebody who's responsible for basically the entire experience other than the band playing on the stage. But even sort of part of that, making sure that the sound is not going to blow the audience out of the room and damage their ears, making sure that, you know, we're good, that we have a comfortable place to stay, and that everybody's happy and communicating, and you know, that the merch is getting sold, and there's all these moving parts that are happening as far as the quality of the experience, and making sure that we're doing the best we can to get as much value out of the experience and out of the shows, and also to put as much value into them as possible. So definitely They Might Be Giants on the musical side. And then on the non-musical sides, the background that I have behind me right now is the old Washington Post newsroom. And that's where I spent the beginning of my career, and USA Today too. And it's about juggling dozens of things. And, you know, I was on the foreign desk at the Washington Post, so I was waking correspondents up in the middle of the night. And sometimes you need to do that because there's some kind of urgent thing that has come up. And fortunately, I don't have to do that with Gangstagrass very often, but it's happened once or twice. And also, I was an opinion writer at the Post, and so a big part of that is trying to figure out what's important and what I don't actually need to be spending my time on, and what, you know, what's worth the band's time and what's not really worth the band's time. And I got two amazing pieces of advice. I mean, I got lots of amazing pieces of advice at the Post. I should probably say three. So one of them was from Chuck Babington, who was our Congress reporter at the time and has since gone on to do a lot of other awesome things. And Chuck taught me about kill your darlings, which is a very specific writing thing, but also applies in a lot of other ways. When you're super attached to a particular line and you're thinking, this is the line, that's often the line that you should cut. Which I think seems a little counterintuitive, but if you write a lot, you know exactly what that's about. And a lot of times an editor will do that and it doesn't feel good, but it's often the right thing to do. And then Sebastian Malaby on the editorial page told me, don't make all the connections for the reader. I had a habit of trying to explain out everything. And it turns out that that's not necessarily the best thing to do. You want to make sure that people get there themselves. So there's been a big thing that I've noticed in trying to communicate with vast numbers of people is you want to put the bottom line up front, which is another thing that I've learned from one of my current coworkers who's amazing. And, you know, let them get there, give them the details that they need, but let them get there. And then the final thing, Bob Asher, the late Bob Asher, rest in peace, who was a phenomenal editorial writer at the Post. And he said, if you don't know, ask. And this has been really interesting in the music business, because it seems like a lot of people somebody will be talking, they'll be like, oh, you know, such and such. And everybody will be like, oh, yeah, I know. And sometimes I think, oh, yeah, that person totally knows. And sometimes I wonder, are you just saying, oh, yeah, I know? Nobody in this room, of course, but it's a thing that happens. And that was such a valuable, not ever. That's such a valuable piece of advice, because if you don't know something and you don't ask, you will never learn. You know, you never get any smarter. Basically, it's better to look dumb. Not that you'll look dumb if you ask, but if that's what you're afraid of, it's better to look dumb than to stay dumb. So those are the big influences for me. They Might Be Giants, and the knowledge is from the Washington Post.
I want to track back to the second one, the penultimate thing that you said about not spelling everything out for the reader. And I want to sort of ask you if you think about that in relation to this band and what we do, and to put a fine point on it. So we were doing this AMA and we were sharing it, and one of the things that we were talking about in trying to, how do you describe this band, and how do you tell people what it is that's interesting about us? And I mean, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should just tell people, hey, it's us. And if you find that interesting, cool. But one of the comments that we keep seeing from people in one form or another is something like, this band is going to fix America. This band is bringing people together. This band is going to end racism. And I've literally heard this said like multiple times by like commenters on the internet. But like, I guess, do you hear the question and what I'm asking? Like, do you say that? Do you say that, or do you?
We don't say
We
that.
don't say
No,
that.
we don't say that. First of all, we
That's
don't.
you know, and something that you know, people say a lot of stuff on the internet.
Yeah,
So,
Do they?
it's
they
true.
do.
Apparently, like more than 13 people have said something on the internet. So I've lost count at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's enough.
Yep.
My personal favorite was
With your little hand. Get
us
off.
being the cure for white supremacy or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. End
Put us
racism, cure for white supremacy. Yeah.
by
Go.
putting us in the water
Yeah,
supply.
they said they wanted to put in. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, all right. I mean, sure. I'll try it. Why not? I'll try it.
I definitely think we should try putting Gangstagrass in the water supply because, you know, I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed this driving around or if you just noticed this in general through the media or what have you, but it does feel like people are real tweaked out there right now. Yeah, I mean, just people around here in the sort of DC, Maryland, Virginia area are already fairly aggressive, relatively unskilled drivers. Not that that's not everybody. I'm sure if you're listening, you're not among these people. But this is a big thing here. You know, there's not a lot of great driver education, but it's particularly bad. I mean, people really nearly causing accidents at just about every opportunity, speeding and weaving through traffic. And, you know, I feel like there is something to be said for any influence like Gangstagrass music that helps to help people see something a little differently, or you know, just calm down or get out their energy through dancing and, you know, hanging out with a bunch of people who might not be like-minded in even any way but this music, to kind of help get that tweakedness back into a state of relaxation and caring for each other and trying to make the whole thing a little better just by your little piece in it.
So not
Yeah.
necessarily like curing white supremacy, but it sounds like you're talking about an element of healing, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Or kind of an element of growth.
Yes.
Just like growth into seeing things in a broader way. I think people easily get locked into feeling like things are mutually exclusive and seeing things as dichotomies. And you know, kind of the framework here is like all that stuff that you thought were like either or is not either or. It's all interchangeable.
If only we could just get our music to Clayton Bigsby, I feel like he would be able to
Word.
like the white supremacist movement and like get people back on track.
But you know,
Right.
though, I want to mention somebody who actually is like has an explicit mission to like sort of reach out and combat white supremacy. So just right before we did our AMA on Reddit, Daryl Davis did an AMA on Reddit.
Yo, I hung out with him before.
Yeah?
Yeah, the blues pianist.
The blues pianist who
Infiltrated the Ku Klux Klan.
well, not infiltrated, but
Well, he converted a number of them basically.
yeah. He makes it a point to like reach out to and like I don't want to say befriend, but converse with Klansmen.
Yeah, he's a dope cat. He's really friendly too. I think he's messaged me a while back at some point, but he plays around DC, or he was playing around DC a bunch. I miss that little community of musicians in DC. Like a couple of years ago, when it was easier to live there, you could walk out in any neighborhood and there'd be some sort of show going on where you're going to recognize a bunch of folks. So, and Daryl Davis was one of those folks. Mark's Cafe was the spot I'd see him at a bunch. You know Mark's Cafe, Sleeves.
Do I?
Do you?
I might. I have a very poor memory.
A couple of really cool journalists hung out there in Mount Pleasant.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we mostly hung out at the Post Pub, which also recently closed. If I could make a note, I would talk about my uncle here on the whole, you know, reaching out to people to try to change their minds, but I don't I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if it's possible. You just keep having the conversation and it doesn't seem to be any better. You know what I mean?
Well, we all have an uncle.
We do.
We all have that uncle.
We
Even
all.
sometimes it's not our uncle, but it's still that uncle.
Yeah.
And you know, and
I
you
don't.
can't. The standard here is not that, like, you know, everybody's going to be converted or whatever. It's just that we're growing into that space of the people who are able to talk to each other and just enlarging that space. And some people are going to be outside of that, and that's just how it goes sometimes.
Right. But it is still useful to be having the conversation, even if you think I'm never going to change this person's mind. It's not even about arguing with them or anything, just about making sure that they hear that alternate point of view and are not just staying in their silo, that they're exposed to something else from somebody that they care about, whose opinion they might respect or at least consider to have some validity, maybe.
So I got this cool letter, and I posted it to the Gangstagrass timeline and to my own, but I got it from Paul Perry, who's a lifer in SCI Greaterford, now SCI up in Pennsylvania, and he is taking up the reins of this initiative called the PSI, Public Safety Initiative. And it's a bunch of lifers that are taking it upon themselves to decrease the violence within prisons and hopefully spread that outside of prisons too. And a lot of the technique requires just a lot of communication. You know, you get the cats on the first go around. It's just like being there with them and being able to just constantly be a clarifying voice is sometimes what you need to do. And I was talking to Jess of the Bumper Jacksons, a really great local band in Maryland, and I was talking to her a while ago about these racial things, and I was just saying, like, you just got to talk to your family. You got to talk to your family. You gotta let them know what's up. And she called me a couple of weeks ago, and she's just like, yeah, I think I need to talk to my family. And she's just dealing with that element in her family and trying to figure out what to do about it. And just requires constant communication. It's tiring, I'm sure. It's tiring for anybody to deal with racism. So,
yeah.
Absolutely. In the comments, by the way, Mike was asking, saying, you know, come to Canada. We're coming, Mike. 2021, inshallah. Lots of Canada.
Oh yeah, the summer of 2021. There's going to be some definite Canada going on.
That's right. And Greg Spence mentioned Volume XM, and that's actually an important point because on Friday, Dolio and Wrench are going to be on the feedback show on Volume XM. So 11 a.m. I believe it is. Is that right? Thereabouts.
It looks like 11:30.
Yeah. So okay. Yep. So right there.
Yep,
In that
11:30.
And that's Eastern. So lunch or breakfast, depending on where you are, or I guess dinner if you're in the UK.
I got it.
Yeah. So, and he also said Atlanta is in need, and we also have, you know, we're big excited to get back to Atlanta for sure. Yeah. Great town.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And we've got some beer to taste. We were hanging out on the Beery Traveler the other night, and we tasted some outstanding beers from out of Atlanta, and we're looking forward to checking out more when we go there with the Beery Traveler guys.
Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to picking up a case or two of a couple of those next time we go down.
That sweet tea. Oh my gosh.
Oh yes, that was
in Arnold Palmer.
Outstanding.
So good.
Yeah,
it was
dangerous.
it was technically a Berliner Weiss, but made with tea and lemon and tasted like an Arnold Palmer. Amazing. So, should we take a few minutes and actually get through the questions from Reddit? Because there are a few.
Yeah. So did you guys enjoy Justified?
Yeah.
Well, that's a funny thing, right? Like,
Did we enjoy it? The show, or
he said
the time we were on it?
Or Skinny here said, I found you guys via the Justified intro. Did you enjoy the show?
Yeah, that was a fun show. I was very pleased that it turned out to be a good show, and I liked it because you know, I did the theme song before the show was out, so I did not know for sure it was going to be a good show, but definitely, I think the writing was really cool, really good, great like dialogue and subtext going on through a lot of stuff that came from having having Elmore Leonard be sort of the genesis of the show with his short story and advising them on writing the dialogue like that.
Yeah. Can you write all that down on the Reddit?
Yeah.
Right.
Plus-
Somebody put
That
that in the
was
Reddit.
Plus, the cast was outstanding.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Any
Oh,
show
yeah.
with Timothy Oliphant up against Walton Goggins as
Mhm.
frenemies, and you're not really even sure who you're supposed to be rooting for. Oh man.
And Maya
yeah,
Rudolph
Trevor.
as the judge in The Good Place was a huge Timothy Oliphant fan. So that's good enough
Oh,
for
yeah.
me.
That's important stuff. Really good. We got to hang out with some of the cast too. The one time some of us were on the show, and then during the rap party later on.
Yeah.
When the show wrapped up.
At the Pizza Portal.
Yeah, which is a real place. Somebody was just posting about that on Reddit the other day, but the Pizza Portal is a real place in Harlan, Kentucky, which also, folks, Harlan, Kentucky is a real place. Just to say a word on that.
Yeah, I mean, as many songs that have been written about Harlan.
That's right. Yeah, if you don't believe it's a real place, let us direct you to numerous songs.
But also go there because it's a place.
Kentucky in general is great. Whenever we start talking about Justified, we just start talking about how great Kentucky is. So just blanket point, Kentucky is great. We have another one. The Greedy Warlord said saw us at the Alhambra in Portland about 6 years ago. Small little venue, and it was snowing that evening.
Yeah.
Oh, right, Portland in the snow.
Oh, that was during the Snowmageddon.
Yeah.
No questions. Just wanted to say I enjoyed your show. Yeah,
Answer is
Snowmageddon.
yes, you did.
Thanks for coming out in the snow in Portland.
Let's see.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So we've been talking about our musical inspirations already. I guess let's all just individually respond to that one about hip hop, bluegrass musical inspirations on the Reddit. And then there's a question that is specifically to me about what banjo I play and how do I amplify it. I will just say here it's a Neckville, and he's got a really cool proprietary warp drive double pickup blending system, which is actually what he calls it because Tom Neckville is a maniac and he makes the banjo of the future, and he's a cool dude, and everything that he makes is cool. And I'll go into more detail on the Reddit.
And banjo pickups are a tricky thing, man. You get feedback on banjos unless
you know
your pickup
what?
is
Let's
on
just
point.
say a word about that. I've forgotten about banjo feedback
right.
because I haven't been getting feedback for
That's right.
years. But it is hard. And yeah, I don't want to underplay that. Like, I'm extremely happy with my Rhodes setup right now, and it could be much, much worse. Yeah. Okay, so it blends a humbucker with a transducer, so you get a combination of not sounding just like a fake electric guitar, but really it sounds like a banjo and it doesn't feedback. And I just want to say, Neckville's doing a great job. Anybody who does that approach, you're going to probably have something pretty good. Deering has their Crossfire is sort of a similar thing, and they have like a rail rider and a cavanjo and stuff. But the Neckville system is really, unparalleled, I think. And then the question for everybody.
Your setup time definitely decreased ever since you got that Neckville.
It went down and down. I started with sometimes people will start simple and then add things on and get another thing and get another pedal and get another pickup. And I started with, I think, a pickup and even a gooseneck mic, and I had a little board that would blend them. And then one time we had to go on the Square Room thing, some kind of live TV show in Knoxville, and I had 30 seconds. I was just like, I'm not setting up this microphone. And that was the end of the microphone. I realized, I don't need to be blending these two things. The onboard pickup is fine. And I've just been trying to strip it down and go simpler ever since. So yeah, you're right. My setup, I don't like spending time set up. I want to have it set up and ready to go.
And Ambly Anberg, on the one who asked the question to you, Dan, about the banjo, also mentioned having a Deering. And I just wanted to note that we visited the Deering Banjo Factory in San Diego, and it was so much fun. I mean, what a great tour. Obviously, Dan was in Wonderland. But for all of us, it was really, really neat to just see how it was manufactured and, and talk with Jamie Deering. And, that was very cool. I got my finger picks and my little cane-toed finger pick pouch there.
Yeah. And
really
I got
Yeah.
And I got this, which is not even gonna all fit in the frame here.
Long neck.
So, this is my long neck. Oh, hold on. I spiked it. Oops.
Ow.
There it is. Such an insanely loud banjo. I love this thing so much. It's a steel pot, which you would not think would sound good, but it does, probably because of the wood of the extra long neck. But this thing is on the album. It's on at least one or two. It's on that track with Kaya. It's on the track with Randall. Some of the cooler tracks. Maybe there's a couple other things, but yeah, I just yeah.
Got me making a face. Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's sick. It's sick as hell. So yes, Deering, thank you muchly. This is really this is a killer banjo.
And by the way, just an aside, that album that we made sounds really fucking good.
And it's coming out on Friday. And everybody can.
Again?
It's called No Time for Enemies, and people can scoop it up right now with pre-orders. Just go to gangstagrass.com/NTFE.
Wait. Hey, Wrench, I made that even easier. You can go to notimeforenemies.com.
Yes.
Yeah. And it will take you to that page, and you can pre-save the album there. You can enter the contest to get an invite to a listening party / happy hour with the band. And we're going to, if you go to the notimeforenemies.com and click on the pre-save link, you can enter your email address there on the pre-save link when you pre-save it here.
I'm going to test that out right now.
Yeah, test it out.
No time
Test it.
for enemies.com.
And since we have everybody back for a moment, the last question that's for everybody is also from Ambly, which is, what is your favorite candy?
Ooh.
That's
Mine is the Toblerone
Favorite candy.
that has my name on it. This is this is specifically my favorite piece. Are there other candies I like? Sure. There's plenty of candies I like, but this is my personal favorite because it has my name on it.
Yeah.
Oreos. That's right. Oh yeah, we should do a screenshot with our specialty.
You
Toblerone.
probably should have said that before I got in the car.
I'm actually I gotta log out of the other.
I kind of liked your dual camera setup there, Sleuth. I was digging it. There we go. There's Danjo.
I'm actually gonna set this up as like a
dual
name
camera.
tag, just so that it's always there.
Just on my desk.
Yeah.
Here in
perfect.
the Washington Post newsroom.
Perfect. Yeah. Randy's is the best though. It's like
Arse on the voice.
It does it. Yeah. It has the whole arse on the voice, which is like only barely fits on a
Shutting.
Toblerone.
Do it, Dan.
I've
you
never
heard?
seen that on a candy bar. I'm
yeah?
still very impressed.
Wait, they fit all of the arse on the voice of reason on it.
No, they got to the voice.
Ah,
Okay, you ready, D?
hold on.
Put them up.
Put them up. Put them up.
Put 'em up.
Nice. Love it. All right.
Look, everybody.
We'll get a screenshot some other time with
bar.
candy bars. But this is like such a cool gift. This was a special thing that Wrench did for us. And it's just, I feel like it says a lot about the band in general that, it's about treating each other thoughtfully, and just sometimes you just do something nice because you're thinking about it and it's a cool thing and it's going to make people smile. And it's just, that's a really, really beautiful thing. I know not every band works that way. It's a testament to the communication and the thoughtfulness and just the general goodness of every person that you're seeing here right now.
I'm bad as fuck. I don't know about y'all.
Yeah.
We're all good
I'm still waiting for mine.
Good job, Sam.
I was wondering. I was wondering. I was like, maybe Wrench didn't get one for himself. He's a very selfless guy.
I think I did.
Wait,
It's kind of a blur.
Maybe that's what's maybe that's what UPS waiting for me. I got a message about some package today.
Hey, who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yep. Save the post office. Everybody save the post office.
Yes.
Write,
Save the post
write letters,
office.
put stamps on them.
Ship Gangstagrass CDs to people.
That's right.
Do it. You
That's
know what you
right.
can do? Has anybody ever done media mail? You can do books, CDs. You can't do it with T-shirts, so I don't do it with some of my merch. But if I was mailing somebody only media merch, you can do it. You send it, and it takes
Yeah.
maybe more like 2 weeks, but it's cheap,
Yeah.
and it's a good
Super
way to
cheap.
send media all around the country.
And we got to bring my friends the Postal Service back to save that stuff with some new songs or something.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Now is their time.
There you go. Jody was planning on seeing Gangstagrass at the theater in the woods in New Hampshire. We were really looking forward to
Yeah.
that show, by the way. That was one of the first ones that got canceled due to the terribleness. And we were, we even thought like maybe we could still do it. I mean, it's in the woods, but it was not safe. But we're definitely looking forward to coming back there. We also really like the Colonial Theater up in New Hampshire as well. That place is super dope. Just a lot of great music.
Yeah, shout out to everybody up there at the Colonial Theater. Those guys are awesome.
Oh yeah.
That whole town is just amazing, dude. They show out hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it Concord? Is that right? I remember.
Bethlehem.
Bethlehem.
Bethlehem. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
save the Postal Service, but while you're saving old things, save old theaters too.
Yes.
Like old theaters are dope, but the thing that gets me about them, as much as I love the architecture and they're beautiful and they're acoustically just superior, the thing that gets me these days when I go into an old theater and it's fixed up and it's well attended, I look around and all I'm seeing is the community, because old theaters just die and crumble away unless you have people that are supporting it, that are fundraising, that are going to the concerts. So, and that's true of a lot of things. You just don't necessarily see it, but you got to support stuff or it goes away.
I really, when it comes to the post office, I just want us to brainstorm real quick. Like, I talked to a couple of people about the post office, and the problems with it are deep, and I don't really know what I should say other than just like mailing shit for them. Like, it's the post office is tough.
Yeah, because it's been slowly defunded over a while now,
Right.
and so
But yeah, you also have to think about it. It's the only institution in the country. There is not even a private institution in the country that will deliver to every citizen.
That's right.
Every citizen.
It's
There
one
are
of,
pla-
if not
yeah.
the most
And-
egalitarian
and-
institution we have.
Right, and people will think about they might say, okay, well, then this private industry will step into this place, but I guarantee you, UPS, FedEx, DHL, or whoever is not going to be delivering to the outskirts of rural America because it's not profitable for them.
No.
And
the
it's
funniest
not,
part
and the
about
thing
that
is that you shouldn't be wanting to make the Postal Service function like a business, because it's not a business, it's an essential service.
Yeah. I mean, the funny part is I have yet to encounter anyone like that isn't like, let's see what kind of money we as an entity can make off of this. That's all about defunding the post office. Like I'm trying to figure out where that push is coming from.
Well, it's mostly because the post office is probably the most like evenly distributed institution in America, and in a capitalist society you don't want things evenly distributed. You have to have inequality. You have to have a way to punish people for being poor.
Yeah, and right now it's a lot about the fact that a lot of the election's going to happen through mail-in ballots. So some people want to destabilize that as much as possible.
Right, because with that will most likely mean this will be the highest voter turnout ever in an election, as long as they don't destabilize the post office.
Yeah.
So what do you say, guys? After this band single-handedly defeats racism, we'll single-handedly fix the post office?
I think we
down.
should hit the
Not doing
post
anything
office
else.
first. We got to save the post office first.
Yeah, to fix the
Okay.
election. Yeah.
Order of operations
Fix the
here.
election.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's a tough thing too, because I think a lot of people might hear that and react and knee jerk a little bit and say, "Well, I'm not trying to hurt the election," but you know, if you're about, like, if you support defunding the post office and taking it away, I'm sorry, but you are going to hurt the election, whether you want to or not, whether you think of it that way or not. That's just what the effect is going to be.
Right. You're going to hurt a lot of people that need the post office to get their medicine.
Yeah.
I'm talking about there are still places in America where you have to use dial-up to get on the internet because that's the only way the signal's going to get there.
Yeah.
And those are the type of places that need the post office. I mean, everybody needs it, but, you know, people don't realize how much they need it, or they won't realize how much they would have needed it until it disappears. It's kind of like when people forget they actually need clean water.
Yeah,
Right.
but since COVID is a hoax, I can just go out and vote without a mask anyway, right?
Oh,
That's
turn it down. Turn it down.
that's Stolio's iPhone, which just decided to rejoin the conversation.
Yeah.
Wait.
Almost. We're getting crickets. There it is.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry about that, guys.
I feel like that's how wrong. What
Exactly. That
Yeah.
was
Every time somebody says COVID is a hoax, we're just gonna play that sound again. Yeah, but the COVID.
It's
Sorry,
the 5G.
couldn't hear you.
Yeah, that was the ghost of COVID coming back and telling folks, no, I'm real.
Yep.
I recently watched the 2-minute Twitch stream of testing the audio of streaming simultaneously when it was just went on loop and turned into noise. It was beautiful. It's a great little clip.
Oh, that we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look how far we've come since then. Shout out to us for figuring this out and doing a successful multicast.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I mean, we're on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook right now, doing all of the things. So you can catch us on gangstagrass.tv. That goes directly to the Twitch channel, the YouTube channel, youtube.com/gangstagrass, facebook.com/gangstagrass, all of those places. So that's another way
Okay,
to
move.
answer your question. If you want to promote the
Move is
band,
hot.
you can do that by
Go.
any
Go.
means that your friend likes the most. Is your friend a Facebook person? Give them the Facebook. Is your friend, into gaming? Give them the Twitch.
Some people might be saying, hey, how could you be on Twitch and Facebook and streaming on YouTube at the same time? A lot of them might not remember that we have clones.
That's right. That's right. One of these is actually coming from Mars.
Yeah.
That's right. That's Facebook. It's on a 7-minute delay.
Our Mars clones are the hardest working. So.
It's
The hardest
true, man.
working clones in show business. That's right. That's right. And we a lot of still so many great comments. And I'm gonna share one with you guys that I don't think you've ever heard before. It's from Wendy, and she was hoping that Hardly Strictly would book Gangstagrass. Have you ever heard that before? Is that ever come up?
Oh, Hardly Strictly? We would be good for Hardly Strictly? You don't say. I've never heard that every year before.
That's right. That comes up a fair bit, and we want you to know, Wendy, we agree completely. And if you know someone, or if anybody who is watching this knows somebody at Hardly Strictly, by all means, please tell them. We would love for them to know that Gangstagrass would be perfect for Hardly Strictly whenever a festival happens in the real world again.
Yeah.
Totally on board. Yes.
Okay.
And let's see what else we got.
Yeah, we got
We have a question on the YouTube. Who decides the artwork on your albums? This
Yeah.
just recently got updated. So
Yeah, because the first 4 albums, it was all based on artwork from my friend Alina Rudolph, who does these really cool paintings onto wood, using the grains of the wood as the background and stuff. And then I would sort of scan those in and tweak those into an album cover. And then Pocket Full of Fire was just live shots of us. And this one for the new album, No Time for Enemies, we actually went out and we have an amazing fine artist by the name of Fahim Majid, who does some artwork onto OSB board, which is the kind of plywood with different little chips going in different directions that you'll see on a lot of the closed businesses around or places that were boarding up during various uprisings going on. And so it kind of represents the times and also represents how that kind of board that's made from things oriented different ways is stronger because of it. And so he does art using that material, and so he was a perfect fit to do this album cover with that as a theme.
We actually had some really cool conversations with the guy beforehand, and it was really, I don't know, it was a fun process. I really enjoyed the process of choosing the art for this one.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, I want to note, Brady A. Turley, who asked the question about the art, also said, I'm a correction officer in Texas and deal with racist comments every day. I play Gangstagrass on speaker to quell it. I love everything about that. That is so cool.
That's tough, man. That's a tough situation
I don't love
all
the
around.
Racist comments part of that. I shouldn't say I love everything about that. I love
or prison too.
Yeah, and I will tell you this: the corrections officer is a tough, soul-sucking job to be in, and we got a lot of work to do on our systems that are putting people incarcerated and just leading to a whole situation there that's no fun for anybody.
I heard a really cool story actually on Ear Hustle. There was an inmate who got out years later, but he remembers this experience, like always cussing out this corrections officer that was there, and just like always, misplaced anger. What he went through, he ended up a much calmer person, but he thinks about that, and he regrets that a lot, and he actually got a chance to send a message and apologize for it at some point. And it was still a hard thing for both of them, because that ruined her day. But the one thing to be thankful for, you got a calmer person out of it eventually, and someone that can look back on that situation and reconcile.
It's such a complex issue, but one of the things that Gangstagrass has been really forward about, activism wise, is about trying to address mass incarceration and the enormous amount of imprisonment that we have in this country. And it's you look at nickel and dime blues, which is a kind of an amazing way to get that point across. First single off of No Time for Enemies, and it's danceable and it's catchy, but when you really listen to it, it's talking about this huge problem that we have in our society with mass incarceration, and about not being able to reestablish life, or how difficult it is to come back into society after that. And Dan here wrote that song.
Which I honestly, like, at the time that I wrote it, I was really thinking maybe more generally, or about just not being able to go back home after any experience, or just after you age or time passes and things change and you're not able to go back to things the way that it's been. But it does apply. I mean, I don't know.
Well, that's You Can Never Go Home Again.
Oh, sorry. What were you?
I'm sorry. I was talking about, why did I say nickel and dime blues? Because I was I'm sorry. I was definitely talking about You Can Never Go Home Again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Correction.
Okay.
Please go on.
But
Dan.
I also wrote
Dan
a song
exactly what I was talking
about a guy not having any money.
That's right.
And it turns out if you don't have any money, you can't get food and you can't get medicine, and then you can be imprisoned for being poor, because we've criminalized poverty. So also relevant, yeah.
And just to say, we've thought of very great therapeutic mass, shelter type situations in this country before that have been helpful, but we only keep them around while it's popular for the rich. And a really great specific example of this, but the name of the facility it's not on my tongue. But there's a situation in DC where they had a lot of mental asylums and homeless shelters, but with this rebuild of the city, a lot of those places got closed down.
Well, Farrah's done a lot of work with, was it the Prisons Project? Is that right? And am I remembering that, the podcast?
Prison Profits.
Prison Profits. Prison Profits.
I've been working on this podcast called Prison Profits, which comes from, all the material comes from a nonprofit called Songs in the Key of Free. And they go into the prisons to sort of run a creative music program, something where all the inmates get to create. It's very creative driven. It's about inspiring them because they do, and I hear this from the guys all the time, they do have bands in there and they play music, but they're only doing these covers and they have to do it for these weird events that they have in there. So they don't get a chance to create a lot. And it's a great outlet for them. And, you know, I get to talk to a couple of these guys, and you hear how the program really helped them out, helped them channel their energy. And the podcast is just their experience with that and with the music and with that creative practice and where it took them.
You're getting big likes and hearts on Facebook for that one, Farrah.
Yeah. If I can give a recommendation, if Brady is still on, for a wrench track called Elmira, it's also about the prison industrial complex and on a personal level with people who end up, you know, on one side or the other of the bars based on their town being decimated by the industry leaving and no more manufacturing being there.
Yeah. And I'll make a recommendation. If you're listening to the new album and playing it for the inmates, maybe skip the first track.
Play it. Play it.
Play it?
Play it.
Play it? Okay. All right.
Play it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Play it for the inmates.
And then have a good discussion.
And then have... Oh, man.
Good communication. Good discussion. Yeah. Speaking of a good discussion, I think we hit basically all the questions.
Yeah.
If we didn't, we have another team stream on Friday night, and that is going to be the release. It's the release party. So 9 p.m. Gangstagrass.tv.
Wow.
YouTube.com/Gangstagrass. The YouTube channel for Gangstagrass. It is coming out. It is happening. Oh, tomorrow there's a first listen of the album if you're trying to get a sneak peek.
Oh,
and the link to that hasn't been released yet because it's so top secret. And maybe I shouldn't even be talking about it, but as soon as we have a link for that, we'll throw that up on No Time.
Right. Well, I think it does mean it's at noon. If you go to Live for Live Music,
for livemusic.com,
they'll have the link up there.
That's right. That's right.
So it's at noon.
liveforlivemusic.com. That's right.
Okay.
Yes. And then we have there's something on Thursday, isn't there? I don't know.
Yeah, probably a premiere on another video.
Oh, it's, right. Ride With You.
Yeah, a new single, Ride With You, that's coming out with the album. And it's a lyric video, but we put some work into making it not just your usual lyric video. I think it feels like something a little special.
I haven't seen that yet. I'm really excited to see it.
Nobody has seen it yet.
And we're going to keep working on some new
I just finished it.
For some other stuff on
the album. Oh, yeah.
We don't even know how we're going to do that, but
no, all we know is it will feature a giant horse statue.
We know that. We know nothing else, but somehow we know giant horse. We're starting with giant horse and just kind of going from there.
The giant horse is the Easter egg. Yeah. Yes.
It's our true north on our compass.
That's right. And then,
keeps us
as we were
artistically
saying,
honest.
11:30 a.m. on Friday on Sirius XM on the Volume channel as a feedback show. You can hang out with Dolio and Wrench talking about the new album and I'm sure all kinds of other interesting stuff. And then 9 p.m. right back here Friday night, We'll chat, answer any questions you have, and play some of the album.
Yeah.
Do we know the number on that Sirius channel?
I think it's 106. That was according to the commenter who was talking about it, said 106. I am not totally positive. Somebody Google that and see.
What's the station called?
Volume.
All right. It is
106.
106.
Google says it's 106. The commenter says it's 106. I'm going to say best 2 out of 2.
I'm going to say I'm skeptical. I need more proof.
Somehow we'll find it.
I think I think you made it up. I think you're an actor.
It's not a law, it's a theory.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff coming up. We're going to see everybody back here for all these cool things coming up, and the album coming out on Friday.
That's right. Gangstagrass.com. Gangstagrass.com/barnstormers. If you want to join us and get in on the ground floor, get some really cool exclusives. We have a special cut of Do Better, which is a song that's on the album, but this is a different version that you can get if you're a Barnstormer. Some really cool live tracks, some individual solo stuff from Wrench and from Danjo, and we're going to have some more individual solo stuff up there from Pharaoh and Dolio and our son. It's good. It's we're building something really cool there. So that's the Barnstormers. You can get there from gangstagrass.com, gangstagrass.com/barnstormers, and go pre-save the album, notimeforenemies.com.
Hey, and if you really want to spread the word on all your socials, the hashtag is hashtag NTFE.
Mm-hmm.
NTFE.
And share the stuff.
Hey, yo, I'm trying to be trending this weekend. I'm trying to be trending. At the very least Friday, I would like to see NTFE trending. So if you're on Twitter, make sure whatever you happen to do on Twitter, just hashtag it NTFE.
Yeah.
So, oh look, these are my new shoes. Hashtag NTFE.
If you've got resources in reserve, if you've got a card that you weren't playing, that you were holding in your hand, if you got a guy, if you got some guys that you know,
maybe some gals, maybe some gals.
If you got gals, like go. Let's go to the mattresses on this one. Let's maybe pull out all of the stuff.
Phrasing?
Yeah.
Wait, are you telling them to pull the stuffing out of their mattresses?
Pull the stuffing out of the mattresses.
No, I
eagle has
believe-
left the nest.
And all the cash.
Yes. We might also want to go to the mat on it.
Or that pallet on that floor.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yep. If you've got any good song lyrics or turns of phrase, say all of them.
Hashtag NTFE.
Yep.
Hashtag NTFE.
NTFE.
All that stuff.
Yep. Seriously, folks, rip it. We're not famous yet, but we're trying to be. So
You.
And we're trying to bring all of you with us.
That's right.
it's true.
True.
Yeah, and say something good too.
Seriously, like if Friday is the day we become famous, don't you want to be the people on Tuesday that were talking about us on Thursday?
Like,
And you could literally say, I knew them when they were not famous, because that's today. Today we're not famous.
right?
And then Saturday, you could tell people, like, yeah, we go way back. Old fans. Remember that AMA?
Yeah, Gangstagrass, I know those guys.
Yo, what? You know what I found out the other day? That I was a day one Kendrick Lamar fan. There was some app that told me, I didn't sign up. It told me that. I wasn't. I love that dude from Overly Dedicated, that early EP he had. But be day one with us.
Yeah, yeah.
Be day one.
That's right. Okay. Rock and roll, everybody.
Hashtag
Yes.
NTFE.
Hashtag NTFE. No time for enemies.
See y'all Friday.
Yes, sir.